Welcome back, CSC 121 to EX14 radial symmetry. So far what we have is if I run this and I increase the speed here, you can see what happens here. It goes up, it goes around, it makes that, and it comes back. Now what we have to do is repeat that process, and we have to turn them 30 degrees because we're doing 360 divided by 12 is 30 degrees. We're making 12 of these so far. If we randomize the number of those we do, we could deal with that later, but right now we just want to get 12 going around here, like the hands of a clock. That was our initial goal, so we'll stick to our goal before we do anything else. We already have draw a triangle, which does this, and we have the move part, which kind of goes and draws the triangle and comes back. So we have kind of functions inside of functions, and we're going to keep doing that. Now we want to repeat this, and we want to do a loop, and I think what we'll do is we'll have it go one time, and then we'll loop it so it goes 11 times. So we'll have it do its first time straight. So we can kind of deal with some of the issues we have here. So I'm going to create another function here to make it repeat, and I'll just call it repeat moves for the time being, if not coming up with a better one. And I'll just use that t parameter again. And what's going to happen here is we're basically going to say tell the turtle to turn 30 degrees. So we'll say t dot left, and we'll turn him 30 degrees to the left. And then what he should do is basically run the move draw with Tim as the argument. Now the problem we have here, if we do this, is if he turns 30 degrees and goes up here, the first thing it says is turn 90 degrees. So he's going to turn another 90 degrees. It's going to throw off our triangle if we do it. So how do we account for turning 30 degrees, but we want to almost negate that turn that happens up there? Well, what we could do is say turn 30 and then say minus 90. So that way that should negate that first one. So it's just 30. That should be like negative 60 or something. So it should kind of move left and do that and make a second time there when it does that. And then this whole thing we could probably put in a for loop. And we're going to make it happen 11 times instead of 12. So we can have it do it once and then repeat 11 more times. If that happens, it has to still work the first time. So we'll have it still run the first time, except it won't be in a loop. So it'll do it once, just like we did here. It still has to run it one time, and then it's going to loop it. It's going to turn and then run the loop, hopefully 11 more times. So let's see if this works, because we already have the forward and all that stuff in there. This thing is just negating whatever that is up there. So let's see how that works. Now we have to run repeat moves, and I'll comment out the first one, the move draw, because the move draw is being called inside here twice, and we're going to put Tim here, and let's see what happens. And I think it's working. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, unless I'm counting wrong, 10, 11, 12 altogether. So it did 11 plus the original one. So that actually worked. So that wasn't too hard to do. We just had to do a little kind of fudging here with the degrees. And that's why it was good not to hide the turtle. We decided not to hide the turtle. In the end, you're not going to want to see the turtle there, but to see what direction he's going and what's going to happen next, it's good to be kind of looking at the turtle. So all that we'd have to do now is just get rid of these lines that are here, the pen up. So we have to go back and figure out when that happens. So it's probably in the move part, because he turns and it's usually before the forward. So what we want to do before the forward is do a pen up, or just do an up, so that his pen is up once he moves. And before he starts drawing anything, then we want to put the pen down. And still he's doing a backwards turn here. So before, make sure the pen is down, T dot down, before he does any kind of creation. And we'll just make sure we don't have any up or down in this one, so we can control the up or down here. And let's just see what happens. And I'm going to stop it because we have to do the pen up before it starts to do the negative forward down here. So I'll just copy this. And again, what I'm looking for, if you're wondering how I figured that out, whenever he's going forward, that's when the pen's down and you're seeing a line. So now it's going around and doing that. Now we could see the turtle, but that's okay. We'd like to see him do that. We could even make him at the end go back and make one in the middle, because I had a sample with the one in the middle, but I'm not really concerned with that right now. Okay, so he kind of goes back in the middle, and that's okay. You could even make him turn. That way the original turtle is in the middle, and that's okay, because he must be at like 30 after it runs. You could even make him turn probably negative 30 or something. Not that that's a big deal. If you want him to just kind of be sitting there, there's nothing wrong with seeing the turtle running around and doing that. So if we just did like a left 30, that should put him back to facing straight up. So let's just run that really quick. Okay, and that works. So that actually works, and if you did that, you could take a break because you got that working, and then you could start thinking about, well, how could we change this? And that's going to involve making, we got a triangle. We know how to change this triangle to be a random shape. So if you wanted to have it be something else, that's fine. Although there's nothing wrong with it being a triangle either. I would rather see how we could change the number of these going around, because I think that might be more of a challenge. It would just take long. If it's drawn a decagon 12 times, that's going to take forever. But how do we make this go so it actually makes less of these and then also gets bigger? So I think that's part of what we'll look at in our next video. So we'll stop here since this is working, and you can share that if you get it to this point and you're exhausted, or it took you hours of doing this, or maybe it took you 10 minutes. If you're able to do this, you could certainly turn it in. But the next step I'd like you to try working on is, and even if you want to make another one, radial symmetry 2 or something, or make it, don't change the exercise name, but, make it like version 2 or something, and then try one where we're, as long as you have this working, maybe leave it alone, but then try working on one where you make these things bigger. We start working on some variables here to make them bigger. And again, a lot of these numbers are going to affect each other, so we're going to have to deal with that. And then make less of those that rotate around. So we'll think about that for our next video.